Hello. Today's article is about the triangle between God and our friends and us. And the concept was one I picked up um, listening to a pastor talk about this triangular relationship between us and our friends and God. And as I began to think about how he had applied this to the Bible lesson of the day, it became apparent to me that there's even more to this that we can extrapolate from this concept. And, and I wanted to share that to you because I reached this point where this was just too good to just sit on. I felt like I should share this. And the concept deals with if you would, a graphic of a triangle where you place God at the top of the triangle, and then you have in one corner us and our relationship with God is represented by the one side of the triangle, and then on the other corner you would have your friends and their relationship between you and them, or us and them, would be the base of the triangle. And then, of course, the other side of the triangle is that connection between our friends and God. And the whole notion here that I found quite profound is that we develop these friendships, these base friendships, quite regularly as part of our networking and our living and working and socializing. So the interesting concept is what becomes of those friendships largely has to do with what we put into it. And so, what if we put God into that relationship, each and every one of our friendship relationships? And as I began to think about that, I often wondered, well, if for a relationship between me and my friend is at a certain level and we're comfortable with that, and God were brought into that, how much stronger would that relationship really be? Well, when we look at our own relationship between ourselves and God, and as we better understand Him and His impact on our lives, I think that the shorter distance between the two makes the bond that much stronger. And that's the concept of this triangle, is that as our friends develop a stronger relationship with God and with us, that the friendships become closer and in so doing become stronger. And I thought that was quite profound. And so, why doesn't everybody know this? Why isn't everybody doing this? I don't know, but as I think back to the friendships I have, the ones that have lasted were the ones that were based on a Christian orientation and Christian fellowship. The other ones have dissipated over time or are weak. If we intentionally bring God into our relationships, then there's the chance of adding quite a bit of value to our relationship as we grow together in Christ. So, to play this out in real life, if you have Christian friends, then the orientation of God and them and us is kind of a natural building block, a natural step. It's not unusual, to go to a fellow Christian's home and they pray before supper, talk about each other's problems, pray for each other in hopes that these problems will come to resolution with God's intervention. That's not unusual. What would be really interesting, though, is those relationships that God is not present in. What if we were to bring God into those? Where could they go from there? And as I begin to think further about that, I begin to think, well, I think there's added value to those relationships. They would become closer and stronger, and we would be bringing in Christ to people who may not know Him. And what a good thing that would be. So, I begin to wonder, well, what would some people think about that? And then as I was postulating how that might be played out, I began to realize, well, it's easy to see what happens when Christ is not involved. Some relationships um, tend to be brought together for the wrong reasons, and they dwell in the wrong kinds of things. There are some relationships that develop over time that maybe only are created over drinking, getting together on Friday nights and having drinks with friends, playing cards and that kind of thing. Well, those are, relationships that aren't really good, and they take us down a path oftentimes that isn't healthy. And while the relationships may get closer and stronger, they're also not God's relationships. Those are things that are being played upon our minds and our values by Satan himself. We give in to those kinds of vices, and so the relationships become stronger because of the vices. And so, in the article, I take that triangle where God's on top and our friends and us are on the base. I also flip it over and I put Satan on the bottom. And I do that to illustrate that our relationship between us and our friends can go stronger in Christ, going up, but they can also go stronger in Satan, going down. And that is, something that I was able to see as why some relationships don't last and they dissolve. They may become stronger, but if they do last, they're stronger in the wrong things. And so, you look at people that at work and in life, and you see good, strong relationships based on those kinds of values, and their lives are kind of meaningless, and they lack the quality that they could have had they developed in a different direction. And that made me see the value of this triangular relationship between God, our friends, and us quite clearly. And so in that light, in inverting it and kind of playing it out as I just described, I begin to see that this was just something I wanted to share with you. And I hope that as you think about your relationships with others, you'll look and decide, my relationship between my friend here and me, us, okay, this relationship, what is it built on? Which way is it going? Is it built upon Christian values, and is it getting stronger? Are we becoming closer in Christ as we become closer together? Or is it based on vices and things that are negative? And what are we talking about? What are we doing? Are they the right things or are they the wrong things? If they're the wrong things, if they're not Christian values, then there's a good chance we're underneath the wrong kind of influence and this relationship's going the wrong way. And then we need to sever that relationship. It's just not healthy for us. Of course, another avenue could be bring Christ into it and pull it back up. Those are choices you have to make. If the values you hold true are not Christian values, then this model is probably not going to help you. But if it's a model that you see value in because you want to change the way you are and the way your relationships have developed, or you wish to help others and you grow closer in Christ, this might be something well worth considering. Take a look at the article, and again, feel free to shoot me some questions. I appreciate that. It's wonderful to see people thinking and playing these ideas out in their minds and engaging in conversation. So if you wish, feel free to contact me, and we can talk about that some more and try to help you decide how to best play this out into your particular life situation. But I thank you for reading the article and listening to the video, and I hope you have a blessed day.